Yo, what's up? This is Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV with my co-host Jeremy Scipio.
What's going on, people?
And a very special guest. Very, very, very special guest. Brought to me via T Nava, Ron Avant. Been around the world with the dude. Very talented. Very very laxed personality, but when it comes to business, he's like, he's right on the spot. So real quick, a little story about Ron. I had Ron do a show in Long Beach at this jazz festival. And so after we did the show, we went to go and get something to eat. So we're sitting there and we're eating at the table, and he's looking at his phone. And I was like, what's going on? Like, and he's like looking at it while we're eating, but he's like scrolling through, but it wasn't social media or something like that. And the show was on a Saturday. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, I'm learning the songs. I said, learn the song? He said, yeah, I got a church service tomorrow morning. And it blew me back, because I was like, dang, this dude is holding conversation with me. He's scrolling through his phone and he's looking at music. And he was really learning the music for a church service the next day that he hadn't even looked at the music for, but he's that dope that he was able to look at that music and get it together.
Yep. Or he was that behind and he should have been focusing on it all week.
Which is
but he came together.
Yeah, man, I love Ron to death. So my sister had passed, and I hit Ron up, and I was like, I really want the service to be special, because like whatever goes on here is going to be my father's memory for the rest of his days, and like it would make my life easier for my father to have that service, be easier, or whatever. So Ron had told me, well, the person that I asked isn't going to be able to make it, but my first choice is. And I was like, okay. And so my cousin was in charge of the music. And so she said, I want this Gladys Knight song. And then I want these, it was either one or two other songs, whatever. So Limo arrives. She's there. The drummer arrives, and Ron, in a Ron Avant fashion, he comes. Well, before Ron comes, Limo is communicating with the drummer, but the service had kind of started, and I was just kind of like, oh man, it's supposed to be a song, and I'm like, she's over here communicating with him. And so the drummer was kind of trying to look at your direction while you were trying to sing. And so my first impression was just like, man, okay, Ron scored with a possible singer, but the drummer's not playing the drums. He's just like beating. He was just like beating a bass, and he was just beating a bass, beating the bass drum or doing something. And I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a disaster. And I was just praying in my head. So, Ron arrived, of course, and everything came together. Ron started to play incredibly. Limo started to sing, and then the drummer, I guess, like Limo was trying to explain to him, I don't know if that song, the drumming pattern changed, or if it was the next song, but the drummer came alive to the point of where
he's amazing. So it was definitely the miscommunication. Amazing. Like, we're all professionals.
Oh no, you're all talented.
Who's the drummer?
His name is Lyndon Rochelle.
Okay.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Oh no, he was dope. He was dope. At first I was like, okay, Ron scored with him, because we know what Ron does.
Right.
He scored with the singer, but I'm like, did he just get somebody and throw him behind those drums? Because I said I wanted a drummer. I was like, oh man, but it all came together beautifully, and I really appreciate that. So after the service, like I was telling you before we started the podcast, about 15 people came up to me, like no cap, like 15 people, from older people to younger people, and they're like, man, she sung incredibly. Everybody was just like, thought she was, you know, she was great. And you know, I was just like, man, my man Ron came through. Like he just really came through. And it wasn't until today that I looked at your social media and I saw what you actually do. See, I was sold at the service, but I was like, she's something different. So I know you're not from LA. What city are you from?
So originally, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then I lived in Philadelphia for about 13 years. I went to Temple University. So I moved to Philly in 2009 after I graduated high school. So from about that time to 2021, I was in Philadelphia. And then I came out here from there. So yeah.
So real quick, can you say two?
I knew that was gonna come out.
Come on, I'm just curious. Okay.
It's better for me to say it like as I'm naturally talking, so you gonna hear it. Trust me.
Yeah. Two, do.
Okay.
I be listening. I be listening to was it Just Hilarious? You know, she's on the Breakfast Club. And, yeah, I just be. I'm like, oh, here she go. Here come that Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all got responsible for legends.
Like that. We do talk like that.
So you try to fix it up. She's like, nah.
No, it's definitely before this talk is over, you're gonna hear it.
Okay. Yeah. And, responsible for legends like Tupac and Jada.
Yep. Yeah.
When's the first time you heard hip hop and what was the song?
Now, I don't remember the song, but I was a baby. I do know that much because my big brother, he actually told me that when I was a baby, he put headphones on my ears as I was like a newborn. And he played like.
I don't think that's a good idea, but I'm glad that you.
I mean, he didn't blast.
Your hearing.
He didn't blast. You know.
Okay.
But he shared with me music like the first time in history, like technically speaking. You know what I'm saying? And then I would say, as a kid, I probably did hear hip hop. I don't remember when, but I guess one song that really stands out to me. Is Common, Love of My Life. It's not the first song that I hear, but it's one of those songs that reminds me of like when I was kind of like a teenager, you know, it kind of gives me that good, you know, kind of feeling.
That wasn't that like, there was some movie. There's probably a bunch of movies.
Nah, it was the one with Queen Latifah and Sanaa Lathan.
Brown Sugar.
Brown Sugar. Yeah. Brown Sugar. Oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, that. Of course, that's nostalgic. That's gonna always hit.
Yeah. That wasn't the first song that I heard, but that kind of Common is one of my favorite like hip hop artists. Like I was really into that whole like neo soul, like type of vibe. That's my favorite type of hip hop. Kanye West productions. You know what I'm saying?
Old Kanye.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think he's I believe, you know, I'm a Gemini. I think he's still in there somewhere, but you know, somewhere inside Kanye. But yes, old Kanye for sure. He had those tracks like they were my favorite to listen to. So yeah, definitely Kanye Common kind of collaboration.
I never would have guessed Baltimore, and it's interesting because I was watching. So I got sucked in to the 50 Cent marketing plan of these power universes and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And so while watching shorts for that, some shorts for The Wire came up. Okay. And so I was listening to some Baltimore accents yesterday, and I was just like, dang, Snoop, Marlo.
Yeah.
Oh. You talking about Wire? I was like, when you
Yeah.
said Snoop, I was like, wait, what? Snoop Dogg went on there? But yeah, Snoop,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Prop Joe, he's a Baltimore native. So,
Oh
and
man.
Snoop is a Baltimore native too, I believe. But like you can really hear the accents. Actually, I just checked out that show for the first time during the pandemic.
What?
I was kind of like,
man.
it's crazy because I had built like I don't want to say resentment because that's too strong, but it's just like every time I would tell people where I was from, that's the first thing they would say. Oh, is it like The Wire?
Yeah.
I didn't see it yet. It went from I hadn't seen it yet to I'm not watching that. It's cliche, it's whatever. But 2020 came. I was on lockdown. I turned it on and I was just like, wow, I really deprived myself of this.
Oh, the writing was genius.
It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's tragic. It's actually related to my personal story, growing up or my beginnings rather. Yes. Okay. So yeah, it's real. It's the real deal.
Sure. So you sold drugs under a guy.
Yes.
And yes, you got caught up. That guy into going to jail.
Precisely.
Yeah. But then you got out. And then then the other guy get killed. And then the guy who
you have to know when to get out.
Yeah, I know when to get out. Okay. And then you got out and then your mother forced you to go.
That's the only difference. Yeah, you gotta know when to get out. Which is
I was gonna say the saddest moment in that series.
Spoiler alert.
I wonder what you're gonna say.
What is the question?
The saddest
I was waiting for you to feel it.
The saddest moment in The Wire was when what's homeboy's name? He's huge now. He got killed.
Michael B. Jordan?
When Michael B. Jordan, when they killed him. That was
that's not my saddest.
That wasn't the saddest. Yeah, that wasn't the saddest one for me. Yeah.
Y'all ain't got no heart.
Nah.
That was sad
because
he was innocent and he was kind of like, he still had good in his heart, but he just wasn't made for that,
And he should never came back.
Yeah.
Wallace should never came back. You got the game.
It was sad, but that wasn't it for me. What
was the one for you?
What's your saddest?
It was Dookie.
I
hate that that's his name because I didn't want to say it, but
yeah,
his story with he was so brilliant, and just to see how it left off with him,
he did all of that to come to end up where he ended up.
That tore me up personally.
Y'all, man, I think D'Angelo was the worst, man. D'Angelo was like fighting for, you know what I mean? He was fighting for everybody, man. And the way he didn't even go out like in a legendary way. They like that's the saddest.
He was like the man. Idris Elba, man. No, he was.
You just talking about how cold he was.
No, he got what he deserved.
Yeah,
I
didn't
feel one lick of anything when he met his maker, man. I was like, dude, he was mixing it up, turning people against people. And when he told, I was just like, oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he ain't no better, man. He's scum too. I tell you the worst character. I didn't like this character. I mean, I love the show.
Mm-hmm.
I just think this character is what made me realize I was watching a TV show. Other than that, I was fully immersed. What's his name? The Muslim dude.
Oh, Brother Muzon.
Yeah, Brother Muzon. Yeah. That was unbelievable to me.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's not there. There's no real person.
Say that. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that would talk like that. Literally, people running. He just walking down the street with a gun in his hand. Get out of here, bro.
But that was his. That was his character. He really played that.
Yeah, but
that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you want all these weapons? He's like, no, Walter, keep peace out. Like, what? He had this little gun. Like, who you think you are, James Bond? But anyway.
Probably.
Yeah, I love that show.
Yeah.
So Limo.
Mm-hmm.
your favorite medium to consume music.
Like YouTube or
okay,
like streaming services. I'm asking like in
either whatever, however, where do you go to find new music?
New these days, new. I use Apple Music.
Okay.
But as like a, actually the social media platforms that I use, I'm always learning of new music that way because I'm connected to a lot of artists. So that's probably my source a lot of the times from where music is, the new music. But I'll go to Apple Music, but honestly, YouTube.
So
I go down the rabbit holes on YouTube with music.
I promise you I'm not stalking you.
Okay.
But
I'm outside your house right now.
That'll be stalking. That definitely would qualify.
That would be.
I definitely qualify. When you hear the word in contemporary terms, hallelujah, what comes to mind?
In contemporary terms, I think about the Book of Clarence, the movie, that just came out. But there's a single from that movie that was released by James Samuel, who's the director, featuring Lil Wayne, Shabba Ranks. It's another artist, and I don't want to get it wrong, but I was in the music video for it.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's like, yeah. I
saw the screenshots and I couldn't understand where you fit in, but I was like, this is pretty powerful.
Yes. It's kind of crazy. Since being out here in LA, which I'm just a little over 2 years out here. So I'm still kind of like fresh, but I've had a lot of experience in this past 2 years. I've learned just how quick, the turnaround for things are. So I got called to do that music video the night before. And it was like text message came in at like 7. Can you do a video tomorrow? Call time is 7 a.m. And so I was just like, but no, what they actually said was with Lil Wayne. That was that word was, and I was just like, mind you, it's crazy just how everything has come together. I can honestly say for me out here in LA, but I was literally on a call like I am now, celebrating my contribution to Black's album Since I Have a Lover, which had just been nominated for a Grammy. So I'm like literally on a call with my friend, like, oh my goodness, like we going to the Grammys, like, which is already, like, a big deal. And then I get a text like, hey, do you want to do a music video, Lil Wayne? 7 a.m.
And then you were like, I'm sorry, I don't twerk. I don't.
Oh,
sorry.
And, immediately I had questions, but I was just like, I got a little bit more information, which was still very little. And I was like, do it. What are you talking about? Do it. Go. If it comes down to it and you're not comfortable, just don't do it. But
just leave.
Go. Just go. Don't. What are you talking about? And I'm so glad that I went and, I was able to be a part of that, the legacy already of that project, even though I wasn't in the movie, but I'm a part of it because I was in the video.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 You're probably the most clothed woman to ever be in a Lil Wayne video. So that's congratulations.
I'm cracking up. Well, we were in choir, at the end of the day. So I think we still had to have some respect for that, So and it's like a fictional biblical type of movie. So I'm glad. I know he was pushing the envelope, but I'm glad he didn't go that far. So
that was the movie with Lakeith Stanfield, right?
Yes. He was also in the video that we were in. So we got to meet him.
He's from
the DMV, I think, right?
I know.
No, he's not. Okay.
The IE.
Oh, okay, cool.
I want to
Yeah.
say he's from the Inland Empire. Jeremy will look it up real quick. Yeah, I want to say he might be from the Inland Empire.
Yes, we got to shoot one scene with him, and he was like right in front of me. I was like, oh my goodness. So it was really cool. It was really cool.
He was born in San Bernardino, so that is Empire. And let's see, he grew up in Riverside, in Victorville.
Wow.
So I don't know where you want to consider that, but yeah,
nowhere.
I'm still learning my geography out here.
So from let's just say from Hollywood, about an hour and a half east, minimal.
Okay.
So yeah, so like you're
talking about San Bernardino.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's in
Yep, the Keith, yeah.
That's considered that IE.
Yeah, they call it the IE.
Right.
You're not gonna hear a lot of people call it the Inland Empire. Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
So did you get to show your skills during the video, or nah? It really wasn't the place.
So actually, yes. So what happened was we got there, maybe not at 7, but we were definitely there early. It was cold. It was in Simi Valley. We all were like on a movie, like a real movie set type of situation. And we got there, we had to go to wardrobe, we got all of that done, and then we shot our scene, and then they had to shoot like multiple scenes, with the other rappers, the other artists. And so it was just a lot of like hurry up and wait, which is very normal for us as singers, artists, and what we do. It's a lot of hours and hours and hours. So in that between time, I guess the social media people for the movie, they asked us, could we sing something just so that they can record us for content? And we ended up doing 2 songs. And I kind of, I guess it's just because this is what we do. So as a choir, we were chilling, but, I just kind of took over with some of the ad libs. I just kind of, because one of the other members, his name's Mike, he was just like, oh, let's make up this is the Book of Clarence, kind of like, not a jingle, but, kind of chant for us to sing in harmony. So we started singing that over and over again. And then I just started doing some ad libs in between. And then some of the other singers did. But when I and they actually, I didn't really know exactly how this was going to be used, if at all, for real. They used it for the reels for the movie, like on the actual Instagram page. Yes. And so that's the sound, and people like singing the song. I'm like, oh my gosh, like they really used it, for that promo, which is like really, so now I'm in the music video, but that's my voice. Those are our voices being heard on the actual like promotional reels and stuff that they were using for their page. So they have that, and then they have another song that they didn't even use. So who knows, like what they would use that for? Just behind the scenes footage, stuff like that.
So me hearing you at my sister's celebration, I don't know why, but for some reason in my mind, I did not think secular, but because of the context that I was introduced to you. But when I went to your Instagram, I was like, dang. I was like, I'm not gonna say you do it all, but like very heavy on soul and rhythm and blues and some neo type of thing. And then you even did interpolations of songs. And that's like hit or miss with people. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes you can't really, as the consumer, you can't really connect with the vision that's going on in the artist's mind when they do an interpolation of it. But you had some pretty nice vocal remixes of some popular soul music
Thank you.
that I was very familiar with. With that being said, what Mount Rushmore would you like to be associated with?
What Mount Rushmore? Definitely. What do you mean? Like singers?
Help
Like the best
her, Jeremy, with
Yeah,
the.
please.
I would say when you say Mount Rushmore, it'd be like the actual Mount Rushmore.
Right.
There's four heads of like the presidents that were most influential. You know what I mean? So it would be like
Stolen Native American territory. That rock, that big rock thing. Yeah.
Hey, if you want to go there, guess who
No.
funded it?
Who
funded
the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh wow.
So anyway,
dang. So
since we're going deep,
back, yeah, we have to.
Hey, I love this stuff. I was like, if we going there, I'll go. But anyway, it's like pretty much contemporary artists or artists you would like to be associated with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't have to be. It could be legends. It just artists that you like to be. So because I think it was just George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Theodore Roosevelt. These guys don't know each other. So yeah, whoever you like. So you naming 3 names affiliated with you that you want to be respected.
Got you. That's really tough because, as you said, I do have a lot of different influences. I started out in church initially. That's where I had the hip hop pre-verbal,
okay.
but I was raised in gospel first. That was like my real musical foundation. So I have a lot.
So Yolanda Adams.
I wouldn't be mad, but I don't think people would associate me with her. I would say Kim Burrell. Vocally, yes.
The one to be kicking up all that drama?
Yes, I'm not. Listen, I'm talking about music, okay? I'm not talking about
the one
to
be kicking up all that drama,
I'm not
going
talking
crazy.
About scandal. I'm not talking about. Listen, Kim Burrell is like my favorite vocalist. And she's the singer. You know what I'm saying? So she's Whitney Houston's favorite singer. She's Beyonce's favorite singer.
Really?
Yeah. So like all of these people sing her praises, but she herself
is off the chain.
It's just like, as a lot of musical geniuses are. So yeah, but vocally, musically, she is the first gospel singer that I heard. So really the first singer that I heard when I was little.
Wow.
I associated her voice with an instrument. Like the way that she interpreted her sound in her songs. I was like, wow, she's not just singing, she's playing her voice, as if somebody's playing a piano or playing a saxophone. She's not just singing. She's filling in the musical conversation along with everybody that's accompanying her. And so that stood out to me. And so I feel like from then to now, she's definitely one of my big influences. She's known to do like a lot of melismas, a lot of runs and stuff like that. And I'm not as I don't know the word with it. She's really like she's sharp with it. Like she don't play games when it comes to what she does. But I aspire to that level of mastery for sure. So Kim Burrell, I would say Brandy. She's another vocalist. Yes.
Okay. Brandy Norwood.
Brandy Norwood, yes.
Wow.
Full Moon.
Wow.
Full Moon,
yes. Full Moon, okay. Moesha?
Yes, her Brandy is she, she's young when she first came out, but her voice and her sounds very mature. And a big influence. Kim Burrell, Brandy, and I would say Jasmine Sullivan.
Jasmine Sullivan, okay. That's a range right there.
That's a Mount Rushmore of sorts, but this is why I say it's difficult, is because I also want to be on a Mount Rushmore with Anita Baker. And I also want to be on a Mount Rushmore with Shaka Khan.
Okay, well, those.
And when it's a lot of different ones, but yeah. And then the jazz one too.
I mean, I think. Ooh.
She's a big influence.
Yeah, I just think if you had the original for it,
Mm-hmm.
I think they'd be like, okay. Now who's that? And point at Jasmine Sullivan. Like, who is she?
Who's Jasmine?
I know
Hey,
who she is, but I just think if it was some big rocks and there's a bunch of faces, they're gonna be
good.
like, wait, who's that
If
one
good,
again?
because just like they have to, who is that man with the tall hat? Go read a book, you know, go Google it, and you'll find her, and you'll find just how amazing she is, and then you'll know why.
Picking on her favorites, Jeremy. You picking on her favorites.
Can I tell you though, Brandy? I really wish. Sometimes I wish I had a time machine where I can like rewrite history. So I really do feel like Brandy she should be the biggest singer on the planet right now. You know what I mean? Like I would. I mean, I give Beyonce her credit, but I think Brandy should have been a bigger star. She had all the makings, initially to be like, up there, like Whitney,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and I just feel like her legs got cut from under her, for various reasons, and she's still talented. I still love to hear her voice or hear whatever song she's working on. She still makes
Mm-hmm.
decent music when it comes out,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just, man, I just really feel like her trajectory was going that far. Like she's not they be doing these tours now, the Lovers and Friends tours,
Mm-hmm.
or where they put all these thousands of '90s artists, and I'd be like, some people, I'm like, they still their own artists. Like Brandy's one of the ones that's just like she's a full show by herself, at least in my eyes. So
Absolutely. Absolutely she is. I think Brandy's where well, it makes up, in my opinion, where she lacks in that, like the notoriety as like that, the Mount Rushmore, they call it the vocal Bible. So among the singers and artists, we acknowledge her for that, but I guess across the board in mainstream, maybe she doesn't get that, that big
mm-hmm.
stamp of just like, ooh, she really etched her mark. She
Yeah,
did for us, for our generation, but
heck yeah, you could
comparatively
not
to
escape
like,
Brandy in the '90s.
exactly. But I would say her influence, I feel like, makes up for, it's kind of that thing like, well, she has 20, I call them children or chicks, like who
Yeah,
literally emulated and crafted their sound to hers. You know what I'm saying? And then they
absolutely.
they have gone on to be their own influencers for the next, and and things like that. So I feel like they call, Stacey Barth, she's a songwriter. I believe she's the one that coined that term for Brandy as the vocal Bible. And a lot of people,
Hmm.
like, debate that, but I believe that there's a lot of truth to it. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's like this airy kind of vocal thing that Brandy kind of like really does well, and her harmonies are so layered, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just she has a lot of people who try to copy and emulate that style for sure. So I think it kind of makes up for it in that way. That's why I still would put her up there. But yeah, I believe she should be bigger for sure.
Yeah. Well, what was I say? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, like I said, because I do know her actual history.
Okay.
I know several things happen over time. But just like I said, that's one of the things I wish I can just go back and be like, here, you belong here. Stop acting like she's here. She up here. um. Yeah. When you what was the soundtrack to your junior high school experience?
Junior high. That ends at eighth grade, right? So that's from like what?
Ninth.
Oh, it ends at ninth grade?
Yeah, out here it's like 7th to 9th, or at that time it
Sometimes.
was 7th to 9th.
I would say, hmm. So like I said, I was still seventh grade. I was at a Christian school. So like when I said I was raised in the church, I was raised in the church. So like I was still pretty heavy in gospel, but I feel like I started really Kanye. I think he kind of started his way. I loved Kanye when he came out. I think that really spoke to me. So I would say
He he
it's
was a he was a great gateway for secular music.
well, I'm not gonna say that
If you listen,
because
If you listen to
Here's
Jesus
the
Walks,
thing.
hey.
Okay, I also had, so my older sister, she was listening to whatever she wanted to listen to. So it wasn't that I wasn't listening to secular music. I would just say the soundtrack, if I wasn't putting on like old CDs that I was listening of hers, which were all types of artists, Sade, that's when I was like, that's how I started studying the oldies. I didn't grow up on Anita Baker. I took my sister's CDs and I was listening to them. You know what I'm saying? So I had to do like my own crash course, but I wouldn't call that the soundtrack. I would say the soundtrack was more like the B2Ks and, you know, the Omarions and Mario, because that was mainstream. So I was hearing it outside, you know, I was hearing it everywhere. So yeah, that kind of started infiltrating a bit more. But yeah, I was a kid, so I was definitely listening to Mario and, you know, stuff like that, I guess.
All the girls around me loved all that stuff. I couldn't stand it. I wasn't an R&B guy at all. When I was young, yeah, but that period,
That era.
like something about teenagers taking off their shirts and doing all this stuff. I'm just like, nah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had Usher. I was rocking with Usher, but during that time, it was just an overflow of those type of dudes. You know, you had B2K, Pretty Ricky, and this was so many, like you said, Mario,
Lil Bow Wow.
you know,
I mean, he
Bow
had
Wow,
been out for a
Trey
minute,
Songz,
but Trey Songz, all of them, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I gravitated more to whatever was the soulful kind of thing of that. That's what I gravitated. Like I had a MySpace page, and I had like one of the songs I had on my MySpace page was Common featuring CeeLo, Gaining One's Definition God. And so that was like a conscious rap type of record.
Yeah.
So that's where I was with all of that.
Yeah, I was into that stuff too. I was a big Talib fan. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Okay. You mean Talib? Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna start.
Yeah, that will turn into a deeper. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm not gonna do it. But yes, all the neo soul stuff. That's where I was with it. That's why I was seeking out that sound. Yeah, for sure.
I know where you were going. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So I have an interesting fact about Pretty Ricky.
Okay.
Wow.
They got their name from the actor who was in Life with Eddie Murphy.
Oh
wow. Yeah, with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, the actor that said, "Don't be scared. Don't be scared." His name is Ricky. And he was at their concert and he was in the front row. And I guess they might have known him or something. But he said that they became Pretty Ricky because he was at their concert. And
from that actor, but not from Life.
That's not from Life. Okay,
that's from the Martin show. That's from Martin. Yeah, because he was on. I know you're talking about. I can't think of what's it? Actually, if I think of it, dang, is it Arnez?
It's something Spanish though, kind of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Muniz or something like that.
Yeah. Miguel
Nunez.
Oh yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so he was Pretty Ricky on the Martin show because they said Pretty Ricky Pretty Ricky what they call him exactly. Yeah. Because I'm like, I wasn't in Life. Yeah. But right.
Actor,
but he played.
Yes,
he played the gay dude on Life though.
Yeah.
So
Ricky, what they call him.
So in the spirit of Brown, that's exactly what he would have done. I would have said something, and then he'd been like, "Huh?" And then he would have brought it around. He'd be like, "Oh, that's what you're talking."
Yeah. I was like, I'm over thinking about Life. I was like, okay, yeah. And I'm like, wait, what? It's close, but I can hear Martin's voice, like Ricky Fontaine, Pretty Ricky, what they call. That was the high school reunion episode.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yes.
Yeah. That's funny.
So, Miss Limo, your ultimate goal.
My ultimate goal. What kind of question? That's so that's loaded. I would say as an artist, it would be to make classic timeless music. When it's all said and done, I want my records to play, long after me. I want it to be a real influence, just like the records that inspired and influenced me. I would like to also, aside from being a singer, I would like to be known for my contributions as a producer and a songwriter and arranger. I just do a lot, so like my goal is to have the financial reign or the financial, capacity and wherewithal so that I can just do what it is that I do. And so I don't have to worry about the survival, aspect of being an artist and things of that nature. And I also want to be a resource for other artists. So ultimately I would have established some sort of, I don't know, record label of my own. I would have established some sort of resource center or what have you for artists.
Legacy.
There you go. Yeah, legacy, just giving back. I was, able to go through different programs and different, ways of learning and growing as a musician. And I feel like, they say like, oh, we're losing recipes these days. The kid's not doing X, Y, and Z anymore. Why do you think that is? You know what I'm saying? So just kind of like trying to pass on what I still have. It's still alive in me. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give it all out.
A secular artist that you remind me of that's old school though.
Okay.
Donny Hathaway.
I'm totally okay with that. He's one of my favorite art. Actually, one of my favorite songs of all times is by Donny Hathaway. Someday We'll All Be Free.
Okay.
That's like one of my top favorite songs.
It was very interesting to me that I didn't know who Donny Hathaway was when I was younger. Like when I say younger, I mean like 6, 7, 8 years old. I do remember a Christmas song that he sung or whatever. The voice, I can hear the voice and the way that he could hit notes. And that's kind of how, you're singing at my sister's celebration was. It was like, you could hit a note that you could undeniably feel like, and it wasn't, even though they were sad songs, it wasn't necessarily feelings of sorrow. It was just, and I'm not just saying, like I say, it's not just because it's my sister. So there were several people that felt the same thing, the same thing that I did. And I was like, man, that's such a gift for a musician to be able to connect with an audience through their voice. And you don't see that now. Like in house music, you kind of do a little bit, R&B kind of here hitting in the secular stuff, the stuff that's going on right now.
Hey, I got your back. Absolutely not. We don't get that. We don't get that feeling that like when it was good, you get a chill down your spine. It's almost like you like, man, I'm not even in the mood for this right now. Like you just like you're making me feel soft and I don't want to. Like, can you just you know you're gonna do that? That's that's the feeling you get. I don't know nobody doing that right now. Sorry. No pop artists. Sorry. Unless you're gonna say Taylor Swift or something.
Gonna say like she'll make Limo will make you say, devil get out my ear, man, and stop receiving these emotions coming from this young lady.
Yeah. When people they call that singing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You sang.
Yeah, that she did that.
Thank you.
That changed.
I mean,
wow.
I sing from a real place. Music really is my saving grace. Bars.
Ooh.
No, I really do.
And she rap too? No, I'm kidding.
I told you the headphones, that hip hop, that's first. It's
Okay.
funny. It's funny because when I was in high school, like I said, whatever my brother put into my ears, it definitely, because he's on that conscious rap tip too. So I'm pretty sure that what I was
Uh-oh.
hearing,
You
there we
heard
go.
it.
There you go.
You
In
heard it.
1991, when I was born, whatever was out at that time, I probably, I don't know, I don't remember it, but it came back around because that's the sound that I was like always kind of gravitating towards, even, listening to gospel music in church and stuff, but I was still searching for that soul, that soul. So, because that was what was resonating in me. So, yeah.
I'd say one thing I always found interesting is when I would hear songs like I play keys. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I went to performing arts with Ron. Me
Okay.
and Ron have been knowing each other since we
Oh,
were 15 years
nice.
old. Yeah, took some of the
Oh,
same
word.
classes, but yeah, he was always a year ahead, and then he would always get like further and further. Like the gap would always grow and grow. Actually, I think it was if it wasn't the first day I met him, it was really early. He showed me how to play. I think it was a Everything Is Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren Hill on the piano.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know who played that on the record? Just a little trivia.
Who?
John
Not
Legend.
Wyclef. John Legend. Oh, really?
He played that piano
Interesting.
on the
That's
record.
crazy.
Yep.
On the actual record.
On
Interesting.
Miseducation. Yep.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. It's all connected.
Yep.
But I was gonna say one thing I noticed when just because there's only so many chords, and music just copies and copies. Remember the first time I found out uh was was the song? Well, we will praise you for the rest of our days was the same as Angel of Mine. It's like the same
Oh,
chord.
the chords. Okay.
Yeah. Like
Wow.
it's just
Oh
yeah.
man, I never thought about that.
Yeah, Angel of Mine is just the slowed down version as we will play you
Okay.
for the rest of our days. Once I found that out, I was like, I would just use that to my advantage and like speed it up
Mm-hmm.
and slow it down. Yeah. I
That's
was
how I.
wondering, do you know any?
What were you saying?
I was saying, do you know any songs like that like are similar
Oh,
to like other
absolutely.
songs?
There are a lot of songs. I mean, the famous ones, are the "Don't Stop Believing" chords. Do do
Oh, what's
do do
that?
do 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 do. The song "Don't Stop Believing." Don't stop
Yeah, what's the
believing. So,
gospel?
oh no, are you saying is there a gospel song? Oh, I thought you were just meaning in general. Do I know songs that share the same chords? So I was
As a
saying
gospel
with
song.
as a gospel song, particularly. Wait,
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
start over then. Let
Sorry.
me
I mean,
let me.
you can do whatever you
Uh,
can go everywhere you want to go.
and I'm sure with gospel. Well, all right. So there's a song. I don't know if you've heard it, but let me see. Let's see. The song called. I will say there's similarities between the song "Every Praise" by Hezekiah Walker. Do you know that song? Every praise is to our God. Every word of worship. Okay. It's like really
I know.
popular. And then there's a
I
song
love it.
"Simply the Best" by Tina Turner.
Oh,
Simply the
really?
best, down, 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 and better than all the rest. It's like the same
Wow.
kind of chords or whatever like that. Yeah.
Uh,
Trying to think of that. I'm sure there's more, but you put me on the spot. So
no, that's pretty good. I'm up here like, yo, does Hezekiah Walker like had to pay the estate of Tina
no, I
Turner or
don't think
something? Like,
so
come.
because Tina Turner's estate, they're not Marvin Gaye's children. So they're not,
What about Ike Turner?
Turner.
He might get a check out
I
of it.
Ike
Ike,
has gone on to be with, whomever he went to be with. I cannot say.
Hey,
I'm not
hey,
a
you wow.
I'm
and
not a judge.
people get mad at me because I say it took two to tango. Everyone will want to point the finger at Mr. Turner, but it takes two, man. And I will say this. His personal life to the side. I got to spend some time with him in London, with the Gorillas. And no, funny story. So Danger Mouse, who got with me to get Brown on the Gorillas, the first Gorilla song that he did. Danger Mouse said he was driving down Crenshaw and he looked, and this was back in like 2002. He said he was driving down Crenshaw and he looked and he saw a dude who looked like Ike Turner, and he was like, man. And so he flagged him down, got his number, got his whole little hookup, da 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 da. And so when Danger Mouse came to me, he said, we have this concept for uh, a song for the Gorillas, and the lead singer, he wanted the guy who started passing me by off to, like, he had the melody and everything in his mind. He wanted him to do the song. So at first we tried to pitch, Brown and I tried to pitch somebody else, but it wasn't that. They were kind of stuck on what it was. So Danger Mouse had Brown do the song. They demoed it, and Danger Mouse ended up producing the whole record. So when he ended up producing the whole record, he brought in De La Soul, he brought in Ike Turner, he brought in MF Doom. It's crazy how he, like, Danger Mouse does not get a lot of credit. Now, the Gorillaz record comes out, and so I'm in London with Brown. We're going, like, when they first kind of wanted to kick it off, we were going to London like every 3 weeks, just like practicing and just getting to know people and just all this, that, and the other. So I was having my best time, man. I mean, man, you just don't know. Brown was about the business, and I was about being in London every 3 weeks, having a great time. So I remember being in Ireland, and the promoter of a Pharcyde show said, I have an advanced copy of this Danger Mouse and CeeLo project. Now, Danger Mouse had told me that he was working on something with CeeLo, but he was working with CeeLo and he was working at Doom at the same time. He was in LA. And I know that it was kind of, I'm not gonna say it was a challenge, but he was doing a lot of work for both of those records. It wasn't just like he was just having all the fun in the world. He was talking to me. We were kind of cool. He was working hard for this. So I had called Danger Mouse when I was out with Gorillas, and I was like, man, you need to be out here, man. We having a great time. Da 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 da. And he's like, nah, I'm working on this project with CeeLo. I just really need to finish it up. Do 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 do. And then when I got to that club with the Pharcyde, and I was in Ireland, and the owner promoter played me Crazy, I was like, oh, this is what he was talking about. That's why he ain't worried about the little frolicking that I'm doing over here, making a little bit of money, but being abroad and being around a bunch of creative people. But he had something totally different going on, man. That was and it's funny because I try to balance it, because Gnarls Barkley is one of my favorite groups. Like, I really like the way that they made albums. Mm-hmm. And I try to balance it, and I say to myself, do I like it because I knew Danger Mouse while he was going through the process and he's just a really cool dude? Or do I like it because these are really dope albums? But the reason why I like Gnarls Barkley so much, I like what Danger Mouse pulls out of CeeLo. I think that Danger Mouse pulled something out of CeeLo that was totally different than the Goody Mob. And it was like, to me, it was like Danger Mouse. I'm not going to say he turned CeeLo into something different, but the combination of the two of them equaled CeeLo being a superstar. Not saying that he wasn't a superstar with Goody Mob at all, but the music that they made together, to me, just was so big.
With Gnarls Barkley.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I can't say that I'm that familiar with Goody Mob, so I'm not even gonna sit up here and lie. But I will say that I do believe in the right arrangements
Mm-hmm.
of people. And I think that even goes to your point about Brandy having or could be a bigger whatever. I think sometimes the producer choice or the, just like the team decision, it really impacts the sound and the type of records that you're making, and it impacts the kind of the leverage or the power that you have to, like, we can really create an era right here, or we can really create a moment, or what I'm saying, because we just have that chemistry. I bring out certain things, the producer, the songwriter. So I think that that's important. I would just say that, like, so, because like I said, my old MySpace page was Common featuring CeeLo, gaining one's definition. So CeeLo's up there singing, all of this true. I want to learn the truth about, the soul and all this kind of stuff. But fast forward, doing these type of records like Crazy, I performed Crazy on New Year's Eve on the 73rd floor of the Intercontinental Hotel downtown LA. Like, they still want to hear this song. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going nowhere. It's a timeless. That's what I mean by I want to have timeless classic. Music. That's the impact. But you have to have the right. It just has to be. It's a lot of things. Timing is also important. You know what I'm saying? Timing is definitely important as well. So.
What is the best decision you ever made?
But, like, it's such a heavy question. What's the best decision?
Because you made so many good decisions. That's why it's hard, right?
I would say the best decision, probably one of the best, was going to college in Philadelphia, away from home. So going to Philly represented multiple things for me. So
what school did you go to again?
Temple University.
Temple. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
The Owls.
Bill Cosby.
Yeah, we were gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about that. Yeah. We gonna talk about Ike Turner,
So
Bill Cosby. I mean, we on the road. We need to.
By the way,
I'm on a roll.
Our graduation was the last ceremony that he spoke at. So.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway, the best decision.
Did he end it with like, "I need a drink"? I'll see you later.
Well, Jill Scott also received an honorary, degree that day, so we were just caught up in that. I wasn't paying attention to him.
I love her.
But yeah, she's amazing. I would say going to Philly because I was able to leave my childhood home. I was able to leave the environment that I grew up in. That's good for anybody to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they're of a certain age, to go and kind of go abroad and kind of, it gave me the opportunity to kind of like gain a new level of independence in who I am. But after I moved to Philly, I didn't think I was moving. I just went to school. But after school had transpired or whatever, I was like, I'm going to stay. So then I was like, okay, now I'm getting an apartment. Like, now I'm like, well, I had an apartment when I was in school, but I mean, like, now after school, like, I live here, so that kind of just allowed me to kind of gain a new level of independence. But I met so many people at Temple, and I would say that was the biggest benefit, even more so than going through the music program, was the people that I met, and the opportunities and just the experiences I was able to have through those kind of friendships and relationships that I was able to form. That kind of did it for me. That was kind of, it's like, okay, as soon as I hit Philly, it was like my feet hit the ground. I was like, I'm working with this band, I'm playing for this person, and I feel like that proved that I had made the right decision. I'll say it like that. So,
did you ever cross paths with Yamin? Okay, all right.
It's possible, but I'm not sure.
He's like a Questlove's hype man with the roots. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a homeboy.
Yep,
So
I'm familiar.
he's very Philly. He's very matter of fact, he said that he introduced, I want to say he introduced Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince.
I kind of felt like you were about to say that. That's crazy. I don't think I met him, but I've been able to talk to Dice Raw randomly. Like,
okay.
Of all, we were like connected through another mutual who was trying to get us, on some stuff in New York. But yeah, the Roots, like speaking of the Roots picnic was just like announced or whatever. I don't think I've ever been to a Roots picnic. Like speaking of that, so I'm thinking about going to that this year. But either way, no, I have not. I don't think I've met Yami.
I'll say this about the Roots. I saw them grow as a band. Like, I mean, they got better, man. They as they went like fast though. They got better. They weren't a bad band, but at the time that the Roots came out, I was on tours that were like, really long tours. I won't say they had already come out, but they when they had first started to become a touring group, like touring across the United States. There was a million groups that had a black singer, and it was a band. So a lot of them had more variation of colors to the band, as it was like a phenomenon that went across the United States, where you have a guy who's like the MC and he's rapping, and then you have keys and drums and like all this stuff. And I can honestly say that Black Thought held his own. Now, I had a problem with Black Thought because the whole thing of him doing other people's lyrics, and this was like mid 90s or whatever. It wasn't like really popular to do that. And I was just like, man, he's doing people's he's doing their lyrics, and is that and then a couple albums later, he says who his favorite rapper is, and it all made sense. Big Daddy Kane. And I was like, dang, he is Big Daddy Kane. Like this, his cadence, his flow, his everything. And then I was like, you know what? This dude is really talented. He's not just talented because if Big Daddy Kane is his favorite rapper, and that's kind of like part of his flow, but then he can do all these other different styles, and he's doing all this other stuff. It's something a lot larger than what I first, kind of started to receive. But very, very talented, very talented. And I'll even say, they added a tuba, and when they did that, it was just kind of like they're a hip hop band, but it's something broader than a band. And it was interesting because all these little minions that they had created across the country just started falling off, and falling off. To the Roots they were the hip hop band. There were a couple of them out there, but when they first came out, it was just like the popular thing. I remember there was a band like the Roots in Canada. There was a band like the Roots in Washington State. There was a bit like just everywhere. There were all these like hip hop bands, which they were okay. They're more like bar bands compared to like what the Roots are. Like, okay, I get it. But with that being said, if and when you get your biopic,
yes,
what will it be called?
The first thing that comes to my mind, and I don't mean to be like cliche and things like that, but I would say, because my artist name, which is not my first name, but my artist name, Limo, rhymes with Nemo, which has no correlation with that movie. Okay. By the way, I was gonna say Finding Limo.
Finding Limo. That's great.
Yeah, I like that. Because so for me, like I said, where I come from, music has been my saving grace. So I was born into a situation that ultimately resulted in me being removed from my biological family from within the first 2 weeks of me being born. Like that was it. So, you know, the 90s, you know, the war on drugs, The Wire, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. So, and it was crazy because I didn't know it at the time, but I was the youngest of my mother's kids at the time, you know, when I was born, obviously, but she had like 5 before me.
Okay.
And by the time she had me, she couldn't keep it together anymore. She, you know, addiction got, you know, really out of hand. And so she was, you know, the system, we could talk about the system in a whole, you know, that's a whole nother conversation, but just the lack of resources that were available as far as, you know, helping a person recover from addiction, the immediate response.
We've seen this movie already.
We already seen it, right? We've seen it. You know,
Losing Isaiah.
Losing Isaiah, yes.
Finding Limo.
Here we go.
I like this.
It's the same type of thing. So, but for me, it's about really finding me, because the irony of looking for everybody else, looking for my family, looking for the back piece of this earring that just fell off, you know, looking for my father, look at all of these things. It ultimately has come back around with, because I'm looking for myself, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find literally the pieces, the parts of me that I was literally torn away from and ripped away from, which is very traumatic, you know what I'm saying? Like extremely. And so music has been that common thread, even through me going through college or just going from high school to college. Music, you know, it was that thing that allowed for me, because I wasn't a music major initially, but music is what I ended up studying at Temple, vocal jazz performance. And so that's, you know, did music, got a scholarship, you know, with the band, and it's literally allowed me, you know, the wherewithal to kind of create this life. My adopted siblings, their lives don't look like mine, and I don't say that in no type of, you know,
it's too late.
target. Yeah, exactly. It's just like it looks very different. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, dang, she doing this, and my adoptive parent, she adopted 6 kids.
Wow.
So it's like I was born to a family with 6 kids, and I was taken away to the, you know, putting another family with a bunch of kids or whatever like that. But because I was able to like pursue music, that's really what has kind of like taken me out of, you know, the thing is, I don't care, you know, if you growing up in a house with 7 different adoptees from different mothers, different fathers, it's going to be very chaotic up in there.
Real.
It's going to be real chaotic up in there. And so being able to get out of that and just kind of like, okay, now I can create what my normal is. I can create what peace is. I can create what love, you know what I'm saying? All of those types of things, because at home it's just a little too chaotic. You know what I'm saying? On top of everything else. So I think finding Limo, you know, I think that's what my movie would be about. Yeah.
I think that sounds like it's got an Oscar on it, for real.
Let's go.
Shout out Splendid Radio.
Hey. Mm-hmm.
And who would play you? I mean, I think I know somebody who need an Oscar, so I already know.
You said you know somebody who needs an Oscar?
Yeah, if we just hypothetical actors. I know this is your 8 Mile for real, but I don't know if you had to pick an actor.
I have absolutely no idea. I would play myself.
But that's what I said. I like if you had to pick an actor.
That's what you mean by 8 Mile,
yeah.
Eminem. But
yeah, this is your 8 Mile. I get it.
I mean, there are amazing actresses out there. I don't know.
Man, we gotta get Regina King up in there, man. We gotta go ahead and give her that Oscar.
Like she older, is like you know, yeah, she could play me. So like it's like an ongoing joke I have with like my friends and stuff. It's like every once in a while somebody's telling me like, "Oh, you look like this person," or you look like that person, or you look like this person. I've heard so
Mhm.
many. I've heard Nia Long, God bless her, she's
Yeah.
beautiful. I've
Oh
heard
yeah, you get her
Kim,
up in there too. Yeah.
you know, if Nia Long want to play me, let's go.
Yeah, but I just think she ain't got the Oscar buzz. Like she ain't gonna get the Oscar like Regina King gonna get it though. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get you that Oscar. Yeah, that's the only
the
problem.
Oscar. I
That's the only thing.
mean,
I like Nia Long, but that it'll
she
go
about to
straight to
play.
Tubi.
She about to play Michael Jackson's mom. So you know,
She sure is. Yeah, you're right.
let's see
Yep.
how she
Oh,
do.
you're right.
I don't. But it got to be somebody a little younger. You know, no shade to anybody. You know, they're amazing, but
Like you
Hey,
couldn't
but
have
I
been.
have to.
You
Yeah, I
could have
have to
been an
look into
adult
it
in
a
the
little bit more.
'90s. That's what.
I probably looked older. You know, everybody looked older in the 90s. But yeah,
That's funny.
somebody good.
all right.
Somebody good.
Well, I'm gonna hit you with the last one.
Okay.
So, more came out of the quarantine, COVID, than you learning about The Wire and some of HBO's best writing and story placement and whatnot. We went through the whole COVID thing. Everybody kind of became shut into their own worlds. We had to learn how to do everything different. Like it was just like really from the most basic needs of shopping,
what a time.
socializing, scared to socialize. Quick little story. The first time I went out for real was a year ago from December. And I went to go and drop off some, because I have a printing business also. So I went to drop off some stuff at a club, and the club had 1,000 people in it, and it had a patio. So bunch of friends I hadn't seen in a long time. So at first, my intention was to go to the club, drop off what I was supposed to drop off, and then just break back to the house. But then I was like, man, it's cracking. So end up at the bar, end up on the patio, go home. This is Saturday. Tuesday comes around. We do the podcast every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Hey.
My nose had been running all day. And I'm like, it won't stop. This is weird. And so I had a little time to kill. And that's when I used to get home at least an hour and a half early before the podcast. Now, around 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes on a great day. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take this little COVID test right here that's looking at me. I got it right here. Positive like a mug. Positive like a mug. And I'm like, man. But then I was like, you know what? It was my fault. It was like 800 people inside. There was no ventilation. Literally 800 people. Like it was a big club. It's a party that they do like maybe 4 times a year or either 2 times a year, 4 times a year, something like that. Maybe twice a year. They do it twice a year. So anyway, closed in with 800 people, dancing and sweating. There's an R&B party. And so they're dancing, sweating, singing all the songs or whatever. Then I go out to the patio where a whole bunch of California legal extracurricular activities was going on, whatnot. So I had a grand old time to come home and catch that thing.
Yep.
So with that being said, everything opens back up. Jeremy can go and tell comedy without having to feel like people are going to shame him on social media because he's posting up, he's doing comedy when everybody else is shut in.
Yep. Good times.
So with that being said, where do you see social progression going in the next 2 years? From everything being super shut down, from everything. I'm speaking from a way that we interact with each other.
These are great questions. My goodness. Repeat it though, so I can
Yeah. So basically, from us being all the way shut down, to now everything is like wide open. And when I mean wide open, I mean It is wide open. It ain't no, even if Biden, Kamala Harris, Joel Osteen.
Oh no.
Said, you know what? America, we gotta wear masks. We're in a horrible situation. I really don't think people, I really don't think people would be breaking speed limits to go and put a mask on their face. I think those days are a wrap.
Yeah.
With that being said, do you see people learning to reconnect with each other? Do you think people are going to start going out more? Do you think people are trying to balance it? It seems like for the time that me working in the music industry for a while, I noticed that after the quarantine was over, there's like 2 to 3 festivals every month. Like a festival isn't this thing that comes along once. You see one festival a year, or maybe countrywide you have about 6 or 7 festivals countrywide that people are just really hyped on. Now you have these festivals that have like 15 artists on them, 10 artists on them, and you're having them almost like every 2 months or something like that. Do you think things are going to speed up? Do you think things are going to slow down? Do you think that it's helped us to have more, or do you think that it would be better if we did have a little less?
That's a great question. I would say, I think with such an unprecedented event as the pandemic, it hit us in a lot of different ways. I think there are a lot of artists who lost a lot of money during the pandemic, and they're trying to recoup that. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to get that money back. So there's going to be a lot more artists who are going to be working because they have, that's how they make their money, especially with streaming, not really, doing it for artists the way that, sales and things could in the past. I think that social media engagement has like skyrocketed, and I think that events are kind of like, they go hand in hand with the social media experience. So I think that's kind of a good thing, I guess. It's like a way to people kind of connect. And I went to Coachella, or I went to Day in Vegas Festival for the first time a couple years ago. It was really dope. But I think that's kind of the big ways that people are being able to see their favorite artists these days. Unless the artists are going on tour and they happen to do a show in their city, it's like, well, this festival is kind of like a way I can see a lot of people kind of like in a shorter period of time. I personally think festivals are kind of hectic though. It's not my favorite overall type of like experience for concerts and stuff. It's a lot. It's a lot of people. A lot of times the festivals are split up between multiple days. So you got to come back, you know what I'm saying? You got to travel and stuff like that. You might miss one artist because it's on a different stage, like that type of stuff. So, and then we're in 2024 where people, they're more unhinged because, or since coming back outside, like people, like I said, the social media engagement went up and people's actual social skills went down.
Yes, facts.
So it makes kind of those in-person type of things, like people are wanting it, but then people don't know how to excuse me, people don't know how to act. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, I think it's a little overdone, but I think what we're seeing right now is, I think things are going to get better. I think things are going to cool down and kind of come back to like a rhythm again. I just think right now everybody's trying to make money, and that is not for the best, I believe. But I think when people start really getting it, they're gonna be like more selective about where they do spend their money, and maybe prioritizing like the tour concerts instead of festivals, or when my favorite artists come into town, or maybe we'll go see them somewhere else, go catch a concert in another city. But the festivals in particular, I think that's a bit much. But it's good, live music, people need to see live music. I agree with that. I think people still need to see live music. They still need to be outside and not in the house on their phones or on their screens. I think we do need to engage with each other. That's good.
Dope.
Yeah. Real quick, what I would like to add, I got some prophecy, some conspiracy. So, I we did at the same time. Look, so 2020, because that's what this question is based upon, right? Year 2020 was an amazing year. We had some events that happened that were very significant and just rare.
Rest in
Number
peace,
one,
Kobe.
peace Kobe. Yeah, that was the same year. Yeah, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so 2020 was a leap year. Also, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift dropped an album. Joe Biden won, became the president of the United States. Also, we had the biggest pandemic the world has seen thus far up to this point. There's a prophecy that said that basically 2024 is the repeat year of repeat. Pretty much already since this year has started, it's been a leap year, which is obvious, right? The Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift just won an album, and it's actually a list. It's like a list of 30 things that happened in 2020 that is either going to happen or already happened. The thing they're waiting for right now is if there's going to be a global pandemic in March. We'll see. So you said, what do you feel like social progression gonna look like in 2 years?
Right, and that was your question. I don't even think I answered that. Well, unfortunately, I just hope. I still save hope for us. Like
Okay.
somebody has to have hope, right? Somebody has to. But
Hey.
at the same time, I don't know, like people seem to not want to learn, or there's a thing. Hopefully we don't have a repeat. You can tell me all the things that's happening, but there's a lot of things that's different too. You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay, like what?
I mean, like what? We're
Jeremy
alive.
doing what Jeremy does.
What's different? Well, the possibilities.
The possibilities are different.
The possibilities are endless. So therefore, anything can happen. Wait. So was that a question, or you was just trying to scare me? Like, what's up? What's up?
It's just a fun fact that has something to do with the
Jeremy
question.
came
That is
with the
fun. That is
doomsday.
very fun. Well,
It's not. It's not. It's just literally four. They said it's the year of repetition.
I don't know if you have like your computer up. Do you? But
Me?
this year, yeah. Or this year is also the year of the dragon, Chinese New Year, whatever.
I love Cisco.
Me too. He's from my hometown. Drew.
Yeah, he sure is. Drew.
Yep.
Did you know Druid Hill?
What's your question?
Druid Hill. Do you know where it's at?
Absolutely, I know where it is. Yep, West
Okay.
Baltimore. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's funny. But I think this year, the year of the dragon, or whatever, it's 2024. I'm speaking and expecting all positive, things, and I'm not talking about positive virus tests.
Hey.
I'm talking about positive occurrences. I'm talking about miracles. I'm talking about things that weren't expected, the unprecedented things. At some point, I just think that people are going to realize like something has to give. We lost a lot in this pandemic. I saw a tweet that said, I'm pretty sure we're all dealing with some sort of mental illness to some degree from the pandemic. So the children are exhibiting, those pandemic children, you know what I'm saying? Or just being back in the schools since the pandemic. My friends who are teachers, they're going through it. because it's just the decline, you know, that it's just so great that it's kind of ironic, right? Like we're on the house with computers, but we're not getting any smarter. We're regressing intellectually.
Becoming more distant.
Exactly. So at some point, I don't know, I feel it. It doesn't feel good. You know what I'm saying? I still long for, you know, human connection. And I think that there's really no substitute for that. And so hopefully we just do better. So that's like, I don't want another pandemic, but I just hope, like, if we have to go back in the trenches, first of all, I'm getting me a PPP loan because they didn't get, you know, so I'm going to get me one of those this time around. Okay, I'm leaving here with something. But I don't know. I just try to do better. You know, for me, I'm not the same. I will never be the same since the pandemic. I will never be the same. I'm not going back to the way I used to do things. I was definitely grinding way too much. I can say that. Like I said, from where I came up, that's all I know. That's all I've known. And we praise grinding, team no sleep, and all this kind of stuff. That's the way. You know, you got to get money. You got to always be seen, especially in social media. You got to be seen doing. But a grinder, you don't come out of a grinder alive. Grinder only does one thing. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make it to the other side of whatever this work is that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like, no. So the pandemic forced me to slow down.
All of us.
And rest, which something inside of us feels like inherently like we don't deserve it, but we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like a nap is not a dirty word. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm not even excited about being as busy. I just want to work smarter. So when I'm working, I'm at the Grammys. When I'm working, you know, I mean, it doesn't even have to be that big, but it's like I'm making these things count as opposed to just always having to do something all the time and then, you know, just running myself, you know, insane. I don't believe in that anymore. At all. Nope. That's done. Yep. So I don't know. Hopefully we do better if that happens, but I'm speaking against that.
Yeah, Jeremy coming with these doomsday.
I mean,
I didn't make it. I just read it. I'm a Christian. I don't believe in nothing but Jesus Christ. I don't believe this stuff. I was reading fun facts. I don't believe in astrology.
I rebuke it then.
Yeah.
I rebuke it.
Hey.
Yes, it's gonna be a great year. It's gonna be a great year.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, with that being said, I want to thank you, Limo. This was dope. This was dope. I almost felt impaled, but I'm not gonna do that, and I wouldn't do it.
You can. I already know
what you're gonna say. That's too much.
All right, bless you.
Well, yeah, okay. but yeah, definitely. People need to go and see what you do because I just feel like I feel very special that I was able to receive what you do, and I wish people could see it because what you do is you are a contemporary singer that has the gift of connecting with people through harmonies and tones and I think that's what the difference is. We have a lot of artists right now, people that call themselves singers, musicians, just whatever. They do something, but what they do doesn't necessarily always connect with people on that feeling level, you know, like it's almost like you do the reverse of what 808 drums do and like the lower, you do the reverse of the lower vibrations. That's what you yeah, that's what you do. You. So if people want to check you out on socials or hear your music or whatever, where can they go?
You can follow me on Instagram. That's my I guess my primary social media with my musical updates. That's at musica_lemo. So that's musica_LEEMO. And my website is lemomusic.com. So I also post my upcoming shows and my music and things of that nature. If you want to be a little riotous with us on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm not responsible for my tweets, but I have a good time over there in the Twitter streets. So that's also musica_lemo. And I'm on TikTok, but I don't really use it. But I'm Lemo the winner on there. But yeah, stay in touch. I do. If you're in LA, which is where I'm based, I do have a show. This Thursday, this Friday, I'm gonna be doing a Ella Fitzgerald tribute.
What's that?
In Santa Monica. So if you're interested, let me know. I have 2 shows that night. But yeah, I'm around. I have music that's out. You can find it on all platforms. Just search Lemo, LEE space MO.
Yeah. Though, well, once again, man, Ron superseded all my expectations when he pulled you out the hat. I really want people to see what you do. It's really something.
Thank you. Ron he was actually the first gig that I had when I moved to LA.
Oh wow.
Yes, I moved to LA in November, and then he did his first debut concert with his music at the Peppermint Club. And my friend who plays with him called me, was like, my friend, that's how we met. My first time meeting him, I was singing for him.
Which last November?
No, this was 2021.
2021? Yeah, I think I was probably there.
Yep. And so that was my COVID party. Okay, because that weekend I was sick, and then I was quarantined through Christmas and New Year. So yep. Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Tinava. You did it. No, I'm joking. But yeah, he's amazing. Yeah. I'm glad that he was able to connect us. I'm glad that I was able to, share.
Oh man.
And that's the wonderful thing about music. That's why I take it so seriously. It's because I know the power that it holds. I don't, Fela Kuti, he says music is spiritual. You don't play with it. So I don't play with it. It's something that I take seriously. So
yeah. I'll just say that they haven't come up with a filter or a computer program that can do what you do as of yet, nor AI. Not and it's so funny. So Brown, he's my business partner also. He made a comment to me about AI, and I was watching something on social media or whatever, and he's like, how you can tell us AI when they're mispronouncing words with proper English or something like that. And I never thought about it like that. I was like, dang, it is, it is AI. So what's up with you, Jeremy? What you got popping?
The 28th, February 28th, I'll be I'll be at Westside Comic Theater in Santa Monica. Actually Thursday, because that's Thursday. I am trucking. Let me get this right. All right. This Thursday I'll be at the Elysian Theater playing keys.
All right,
for
keys,
this group.
Come on.
Yeah. And then Friday I'll be at this venue in Atwater, California. The 28th, I will be at Westside Comedy Theater. Let me see. I think that's it. That's good enough. Yeah. March 2nd, I'll be at Coachella Valley. That's important. And then also, I would like to shout out. Was it February 23rd? The Free Nats are going to be dropping song "Gangster" with I think AP, AP and ASAP Rocky. So since we shouting Ron out, I figure shout out his work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, hey, man, this has been another episode of Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV. Thank you, Lemo. This has been
thank y'all so much.
A pleasure.
My pleasure.
And always good to slap hands with Jeremy through the technology and whatnot.